Welcome to your next step up the self-publishing mountain.
I'm Matilda Swift, author of quintessentially British cozy mysteries.
And I'm Samantha Cummings, author of young adult books about magic, myths and monsters.
I've written the books,
Changed their covers,
tweaked their blurbs,
tried tools from a dozen ads courses.
and I'm still not seeing success.
Now, we're working together to plot and plan our way from barely making ends meet to pulling in a living wage.
Join us on our journey where we'll be mastering the pen to snag that paycheck.
Hello and welcome to Pen to Paycheck Authors Podcast. I'm Samantha Cummings here with my co-host Matilda Swift, and we're here to write our way to financial success. We're two indie authors with over a dozen books between us and still a long way to go towards the quit the day job dream. If that sounds familiar, listen along for our Mastery Through Missteps journey. Each week we cover a topic to help along the way. This week we're talking about turning our money-making tactics into strategies. But before that, what are your wins and whinges of the week?
Okay, I have had whinges, even though this is my very first week of writing full-time. I did half a day's work this week, which is what I'll be doing in future. I'll be doing half a day's freelancing, but I still randomly had to do half a day's work because that's what I was left after all my leave was booked in. And it felt like nothing. It was like, yeah, half a day, whatever. I just did a few clicking and emailing and doing a few bits for half a day and then done. And so, yeah, it's been really, really nice to not have to go to work, but it feels a bit like holiday still, because I think because I have been so laser focused on like getting in everything from my busy writing schedule and working at the same time, I have really like kept my brain locked down. And this week my brain has just felt full and like fizzing with ideas, which has been so nice, but it has really kept me kind of bouncing around, not getting focused, which is fine. That's I'm happy for that to be this week. I've actually still got like 2 weeks of this week and next week is a week's of leave from work, so it's just really nice to be doing that, but it does feel like holiday. I think it'll take me a few weeks to figure out what it feels like to be properly doing it full time. So absolute win on that front. On the Monday afternoon after I finished work, I baked parkin and I baked banana bread while I watched Christmas movies, and that's what I want my life to be like, but I do actually have to get some work done. And I've done loads of admin stuff this week, and my whinge of the week is that I absolutely broke my website while trying to do a big job that I'd been putting off for ages, which is to change the theme. I destroyed it, couldn't make my backup work, had to put it on maintenance mode and walk away for a couple of days while I was like, I went to my parents' house. We had a big party for my brother, and then we had another party for a friend today. And then I came back today to look at it again, and I found the backup and I restored it and it was fine. So I still got a little work to do on it to kind of make everything fit the new theme now, but I'm glad I had the time to walk away. But also I've had 2 days of parties, which is very nice. I did some more baking for one of the parties, and it was the silent disco, which I talked about last year as like a real metaphor for kind of keeping people in your ecosystem by telling them what to expect. And it was nice just to have that again. Like, there were 3 channels at silent disco. You could pick which one you were on, and the DJ's job was to obviously try and keep you on their channel for as long as possible and keep you, never wanting to leave, which is what we have to do as authors. But it was just so nice. You keep flipping between songs and just always find something that you're desperate to dance to. And I just danced with so much abandon, and it really felt like the best thing to do the week you've quit your job. It's just like dance like 100% when no one's watching, and you can sing at the top of your voice because no one could hear. So much fun. And it was Halloween themed, so I got to dress up. I dressed up as Derpy Tiger. So that was just fun. And we had like a party at my parents' house before we went, and I'd made cakes and brought snacks and made mulled wine and a cocktail. I just, yeah, absolutely liked. So we did all that drama in my village because the whole phone system has been taken down without any notice, so everyone's off their phone signal, which is like a nice cozy mystery plot line. I think I often have rural settings for my books and people don't have any phone signal, and then they can't contact the police or get any help. I was like, this is exactly what's going to happen now. I'm going to be called in at any moment now to solve murder. But yeah, other wins and whinges, I feel like I'm having a lifetime's worth of experiences and emotions this week, which is really good, but also kind of hard to fit into a podcast format. So I'll pause there. How are your wins and whinges?
I feel like that's like really a good description of me as well. This week has been like, I just feel like I'm all over the place. I feel like I'm having emotional breakdowns, but also like revelations. Like, I feel like I'm just going through loads of stuff. like, yeah, and it's like epiphanies, but I don't really know how to put it into words what they are, just that I'm kind of mentally struggling with ideas and then being okay with them like 24 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what. I feel like just maybe the changing of the season, the clocks have gone back. I feel like I'm just changing into like my autumn/winter self, and it's very difficult because I'm such a summer baby that I just like I don't know who I am or what's going on right now. But it's okay. It's fine. Like, it's really nice. I've done some good work this week. Not as much writing as I'd wanted to get done, but I've just been finding myself very busy, which is okay. Like, I have to remind myself it's okay. Like, and sometimes I'm just busy doing other stuff. I'm not yet at the point where like this is my full-time thing, so I can't expect like myself to be able to do all the hours I need to do. Like it's just not happening right now. And I saw like an Instagram post recently which was just a reminder that right now what you've got is enough. And that's what I keep having to tell myself. Like, right now, and like everything's fine. What I've got is enough. Where I am is the right place to be. That's kind of like my mental state. I keep having these little like, oh my God, I'm not as far ahead as I need to be, and like, what am I doing with my life? And then having to pull back and be like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And I feel like I get like this every time this time of the year. I feel like I always have this. So I don't know why I'm always like, what's going on? It's like, no, this is just what you do every year. So, but I've had some really nice moments, and like I went and spent the day in Manchester yesterday, and I love the buildings. Like, I really feel like, because I just love, like, I'm really obviously deep into the dark academia thing, like writing and just like moving my whole brand and everything over to dark academia, that I just wander around being like, I just feel like I'm living a dark academia life. Like, the buildings that are in Manchester are just sensational, like so old and gothic looking, and around every corner it feels like there's some sort of mystery or some secret that you could discover. And it was just, I'm having a great time whilst also emotionally like breaking down.
Yeah.
And that's me.
I think partly, I think definitely I felt a lot of that. It's just like, I could be doing a lot more if I had more time, is how I felt for a long time. And thinking like, oh, I feel like I'm just being hampered by the realities of existence, which is not a very fun thing to be hampered by. And also, we are coming to the end of our Act 2, which we have said we're on like a 5-act structure in our lives and podcast. And the end of Act 2 is, you know, an uncomfortable place. Something big is coming.
Yes.
And could be good, could be bad. We don't know.
Yeah, no idea. As a random fun thing that's happened to me this weekend is that somebody, I don't know who, I haven't asked, somebody's added me to a follow for follow group on Instagram. So I'm in some like Instagram chat thing, a follow for follow thing. And so my follower increase has like exploded. I'm getting like loads of likes on pictures and stuff, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep quiet in here for a while and see what happens until they kick me out because they realise I'm not gonna do this. So I don't know who's added me to it, but I'm gonna try and reap the rewards. I'm also, actually, I forgot to mention this as part of one of my wins. I'm doing a giveaway with somebody on Instagram, who, like, you kind of pay them and they do a post to do an international giveaway. And I'm doing that at the moment. So I feel like things are okay. I'm just mentally unwell.
Or you're pupating, coming out of chrysalis.
I'm
metamorphosing.
changing. Yeah, ready for my ascension.
Yes. Okay, well, that's good. We've got a good time for it. So today's topic of the week is turning tactics into strategies for our financial futures. How is this different from last week's topic?
Well, last week we talked about our tactics. So we talked about the stuff that we want to do, like the jobs that we always find we have in order to make money. So it's like we listed basically all the things that we thought we could do in order to make money. This week is about the strategy that goes behind that. So the thing that I was writing something down before, and I was like, oh, I have to write this down so I don't forget. It sounded very exciting. But it basically was just like the quickest and easiest way that I could think about the difference between strategy and tactics. So strategy is the what and the why, and tactics are the how. And I had to write that down because it felt like that's like the simplest way to look at it. So The tactics are the how, which is things like run ads,
Yeah.
like join book bubs, put things on BookFunnel. But the strategy is like the what and the why. So I wrote myself a little list of things that I wanted to do, and whether this is right or wrong, this is just how it kind of came up for myself. So the what and the like, one of my examples of my what and my why is that I want to grow my email list, which is the what. The why is that I want to obviously build a better funnel for talking to people, and just like feel like I've got a bit more control over like sales. Whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. Like that's what I think. Yeah, that's my expectation. Is if I have a better email list, I'll have more control over things. And then my tactics of how is to pull all my things, I know, sorry, I just completely blanked. Like to like make sure that I've got all of the right things in place. So my book funnel, things that I can be putting out there to get people onto my mailing list, and then ensure that my email automations and stuff are up to date and doing the right thing. So that's just like one example that I've got of my strategy, which is the what and the why, building my mailing list, to make sure I've got the like easy ways to talk to people and get people into the funnel. And then like how I'm going to do it, I've made myself a little list of tasks I need to do. It feels good putting it that way. It feels good breaking it down into those two things, the strategy and the tactics, and separating them out, because I really need a roadmap to do stuff. I can have as many ideas as I want, and I have so many ideas and so many things that I want to do, and there's so many things that you can do, but until I make a list, like I have to live by a list. Until I make a list with these things actually written down, it might seem like so simple to a lot of people if you're already in your own, like you've got your own machine running and you've already done all this stuff, and once you've done it, it just seems super simple. But I still don't have these things in place. Like I still don't have things built up that feel like they're in the right place and they're working the right way.
I think most people don't have a machine running, because I think the way that everything is talked about is tactic focused. So we're often talking about here's how you run ads, and here's how you build your subscriber list by using BookFunnel. It's like everything is about tactics, and there's a reason behind that, in that like a lot of the tactics that we use are things that you might not have done in other places, so you do have to learn the tactics. But there's very little talk about like, okay, once you've learned the tactics, now go make a strategy. Like, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to say, year 2, or act 2 was like just trying lots of different tactics and thinking about different tactics and making sure we felt well equipped to then make a decision about what we're going to take forwards. Because I think really there's very little talk about strategies. It's interesting in the Nicholas Erickson Ultimate Guide to Marketing book, he's very focused on strategies versus tactics. But it's such a big book that I think a lot of people have skimmed bits of it and haven't read a lot of it, which I definitely was my first read of it. Was just like, yeah, here's some tactics I've seen before. You run ads, you do a book funnel, like you get a book, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't really take in the deeper thing of strategy. And I even think when people become successful, like often it's just because they've found a tactic that works for them, but without doing necessarily something deliberate. And I think the problem as well with the strategy is, so if we said strategy of things like to build your audience or to build your backlist, like it's very hard. I find it very hard to feel confident that I'm making the right strategy choice, because I've never done this before. Like this is the first time I run any business, let alone run any self-publishing business. So say I made my strategy to build my backlist as quickly as possible. That was my strategy in order to say that I can make money from other like tactics. So I want to build my backlist so that I've got a marketable backlist and kind of build product to market it and literally make money that way. And that was my overall strategy. It was like just a money making product making strategy. And then tactics within that will be various things around writing, around advertising, and around maybe some more organic marketing for just like putting out posts about my release. that might be a terrible strategy because maybe what I'm writing is not to market. Or it's, I mean, hopefully you would think about that, but like, or it turns out I'm not a very fast writer, and I made my whole strategy being I'm going to rapidly release, and I try and do it, and I just burn out really quickly, and it's just like there's just too many unknowns for you to pick a strategy quickly. And it might be that you write in a genre where actually people really want very long books, and you just cannot make a strategy around building a backlist quickly. So I think there's too many unknowns when you're first starting to build any sort of strategy.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, and so that's where I felt at the end of last week was just like we talked about lots of tactics. It was really useful to think about different ways of thinking about tactics. So we looked at both like long-term and short-term money making things. So short-term being things like ads that you put money and you expect to get money out. Long-term being things like book funnel or Pinterest where you're kind of putting awareness out and you're hoping to get it back in later. You're putting awareness in, hoping to get money out. Either way. So long and short term. And also kind of thinking about the opposition of awareness versus offers. So you're trying to build awareness of your products versus trying to offer them for sale more directly.
Yeah.
So those are sort of two different ways of thinking about quite similar things. And I hadn't really thought about those when we were thinking about tactics. I was really just thinking about the money in, money out tactics. So it was useful to have a conversation. But then when it came this week to think about strategies, I was like, I was really trying to think like tactic up. I was like, okay, I like these tactics.
Yes.
What strategy does that make? And that was not a good way to think about that. I really felt like that. Then I just got stuck, and I was like, I could do different tactics if I thought they would be successful. Or what do these add up to? Like, what's my goal? I don't know. I find it really helpful. I always like to talk to a problem, which is why I've got a podcast. So I just started talking to Gemini, and I was like talking to him like, I'm really stuck. Here's the sorts of things I'm thinking about. Can you just organize my ideas and like ask me some questions that will prompt me thinking about this more? And I found that really helpful. So yeah, that is kind of where that was my process, because I definitely felt like had I not got this podcast to come to, I would have stopped at the tactic stage and been like, I don't know, here are some tactics, I'll keep trying. How did you develop your strategies?
I thought about the things that I've been wanting to do. Basically, it's all the stuff that I've been trying to do and wanting to do all year, but I feel like I haven't made any progress really. And that's basically because my strategy this year was to release a new genre, a new pen name. So, like, funnily, like, enough, thinking about all this, I realised, like, my strategy for this year was that. Like, obviously, like, I've been, like, learning different tactics along the way, but that was my thing, was just, like, launch something new. And that kind of made me think, like, okay, well, what now if I'm looking at all the things that I kind of put on the back burner whilst I was doing that? So, like, building my email list, getting website views, like making my website more of a hub, some of the strategy, like building my social media kind of growth and awareness and things like that. So they're like the main things that I've been wanting to do all year, and I have been kind of figuring out tactics over the last few months, or like for this last year. Like you say, we've been trying different things, and you do all these things, like do ads and try and get book bubs, do book funnel. And it's kind of like testing different recipes, but not putting them in a meal. Like you're just like, you're trying like, oh, this will be good for breakfast, but you only do it once every 6 weeks. So it's not like part of your breakfast repertoire. This is going to be a really, really bad analogy.
We love a metaphor. Yeah.
So we've been trying recipes all year, and now I'm trying to put together a meal plan. Oh,
yes,
we're coming together.
That is
it's coming
oh
together.
My goodness, yeah.
I did it. So yeah, that's kind of the way I've approached it this week, is thinking about all these recipes that I've got, and what can I put them, like how can I put those together to make a meal, and that's how I've approached it. Is I know what I want to grow my email list. I've been wanting to for a long time, but I haven't had time to. But I have all these tactics, all these recipes that I have been trying out just randomly, sporadically, all over the place, just doing like bits and pieces. But I haven't pull them all together and done them well.
But you can't necessarily when you start, right? Like you can't make like a
Yes,
croque
yeah.
en bouche without knowing how to make a profiterole.
Yes.
To give a very relatable example.
As we all know. As it says on the t-shirt, you know?
Yeah, you can't make croque en bouche without making a profiterole.
Yeah.
We're all saying that all the time. No,
Yeah, that old
I
saying.
really want to make croque en bouche one day. It's like the thing that's a big pyramid of profiteroles, basically.
Yeah.
And they make it semi-regularly on Bake Off. And whenever I see one, I always think, oh, I should make croque en bouche.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but you wouldn't start with a croque en bouche. You start with one profiterole.
No.
And even
Yeah.
really, you'd probably start with just a simple choux pastry and be like, how do you make choux pastry?
Yeah, and then also
you
you're
start
like,
with an eclair.
yes, and then you need to make your like patisserie cream and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's its own thing as well. So
And your spun sugar to go over it. Yeah. There's a lot of
exactly,
bits.
and the gloss of the chocolate. Oh, all sorts of stuff
Yeah.
going on. So we've been trying out the different recipes for
Right,
all
I
of
would say
this.
I think what's interesting is like making the croque en bouche is not the strategy. The strategy that you're going for is you want to impress your diners, right? So like you wouldn't make a croque en bouche for like family dinner. You're making it for a wedding or a royal banquet. So like you might just make a nice profiterole dish for your family dinner. And I think the key thing that I really hadn't thought enough was like making sure I was thinking about the goal.
Yes.
So when we're saying things like, oh, I really want to grow my mailing list, sometimes that can just be because like everyone says mailing lists are really important, so I should grow my mailing list. And I have really been holding off on that because I know that I don't do enough of my mailing list. And one thing I've done this week is work with Gemini and give it some of my newsletters and be like, why? I get really good open rates. Like, why am I not converting from my newsletter? And it was like, oh, you should be aiming for like 80% information, 20% sales, and like be much more direct with the sales than you're being. And like at the moment, you're being like 95% life information and 5% sales. And it was kind of politely saying like, unless you are becoming a cat, distributor, you should talk more about your books. And it's true. And it's like, I hate asking for the buy because, and I mention my books, and so I think to myself, like, I've mentioned my books, so if people want to buy them, they'll buy them. And it was like, have a big button. Don't just put in text mentions of your books. Like, have a big buy this book now button. And I'll make that go at a high point of your newsletter and make people read past this and then be reminded of it at the end before they get the reward of your cat pictures.
Yeah.
And if you can hear my cat, she's brought me a third toy in a row to play with. And then she's just whining over them. I can't play. We just played before we came.
She's choosing not to.
I'm doing a little bit of subtle playing, but she doesn't want to engage. She wants me to get down on the ground and have a full game. Anyway, yeah. So it's like, what is your goal? If you're making the croque en bouche, it's to impress the king so that he doesn't decapitate you, presumably.
Yeah.
Or so that you can win the favour and become the head chef in the palace. If you make a croque en bouche for your family dinner, it's presumably going to like bankrupt your whole family and a bunch of profiteroles are going to go to waste. So it's like you need to make sure that your strategies align with a specific goal and it isn't just like because that's what everyone says you're meant to do.
Yeah. So for me, all of the things are brand building. It's all brand and awareness building. It's to create the brand that I have in my head, the one that I have really been working towards. So I know, like in my head, I would like to write this stuff down, but right now it's more of a feeling. It's like I know the feeling that I'm trying to create. I haven't put that feeling into words yet.
I think if you're a one-person business, you don't need to write that down. I think you can kill it by writing it down. You don't have to write it down to give to someone else.
Yes, so I'm happy to like. I know why. Like, email. When you say like grow an email list, I know that's like because everyone says. For me, it's more to just do something bigger with my business, to have it thrive in a different format, in a different way. I want to be touching all bases that I know like are my strong suits, which is communication. It's being like fun and chatty and like, which is why like social media is always going to be one of my strategies because I love it. I love that format. I love that way of communicating. And so I have kind of picked the things, like my strategies are the things that I like and the things that I know are my strong suits. So my email growth, my website, and my socials is like that. They're the strategies that I picked because they're the ones that I can't say that there would ever be the wrong ones because they're the only ones that feel right to me. So I'm one of those people that really believes in their own decisions. Like I really would never second guess the decisions that I make. I never think, oh, is that the wrong thing? It's like, no, if I've decided it, then it must be the right thing. Surely.
I think as long as it's working towards a specific strategy, because I think like, you do want to do the things that come easily to you, right? That are in your genius zone, because otherwise you're just going to be fighting 10 times harder than you have to be. But I think you want to make sure that you're saying, okay, I know these 3 things are things that I could do well and easily, but what goal are they towards? Because I think we both send regular newsletters without necessarily being goal focused enough with them. Because I think we both like communication. So I write my newsletter. I've got like a loyal readership. People reply, people open regularly. People click on my books and they just don't buy them. And it's like, well, I'm not trying to be your best friend. So I'm writing newsletters as if I am trying to be your best friend, which is my fault. And what I'm actually trying to do is to build brand loyalty so that you buy my books and that you want to be like my book's best friend, not my best friend.
Yeah,
that is where I think it's important to have a strategy and like make sure the strategy's got a goal. And it's fine if you haven't done it in the past, right? I think I'm not being like, oh, I have been such a fool in the past because I just didn't have enough data to build a strategy. And now I think I do. I think moving into year 3, that's a big thing we want to do. I think my real like perfectionist desire to get things right has made me struggle as we were approaching year 3 to think like, how would I pick a strategy? Because I'm not going to pick the right one, and then I'll be self-flagellating over having picked the wrong one. But actually, I am trying to see my next, because I've got enough money to last me for 2 years of not working. I'm trying to see my next 2 years as separate. So in year 1, I want to try and do the things that are less directly about bringing money in. They are more long range bringing money in and giving me a chance to try things that I think will bring money in, but I don't have to be certain about it. And then in year 2, I want to try things that I think will bring money in. And if they don't, they don't. And that's not the end of the world. But I think if I started in year 1 saying like, I have to make huge amounts of money and make really big changes to my income, I would put myself on a path that was like destined to be like as fun as my day job. I'm like, oh, well, I might as well stay there then. So in my year 1, which is next year basically, I want to have the strategy that's very focused on audience building. And that's what I came to when I was talking through my like goals. I have got financial goals next year, but I have deliberately made like a 2-year timeline where it's a relatively slow build to begin with, because I want to do slightly riskier things in my first year, like including writing a Christmas series, which is like, it's time limited when it sells. It could sell really well, but it would only sell well for part of the year, even if it sold really well. And it might not sell really well. And then I've sort of lost my chance to try and tweak anything or do anything about the marketing for a whole year. So that feels like a big risk. It's like, but I'm fine taking that risk in the first year. And if I'm making a risk on that front of like, that's kind of a strategy towards like really, really trying to carve out a place in the market that is just mine. That is like fully into the areas that I love. It'd be like a culinary Christmas cozy mystery series, which is like, I cannot imagine anything better.
No.
Yeah, absolute love. So like I want to write that, and then I also want to think about on my like business strategy side. Yeah, I think I had struggled to build my tactics into a strategy, but I want it to be about building my audience rather than focusing on money side of things. I would rather actually, sorry, got a tickle in my throat because I've been singing so much last night. Yeah, I'd rather focus on building a loyal audience who they are buyers, but I'm not trying to like, I'm not focusing my ads on buying. I think I want to make sure I've got things like my email onboarding sequence really strong, my back matter really strong, so that anyone I do bring in is like hooked in, and I want to focus on bringing new people into my ecosystem and hooking them in rather than like scattergunning lots of sales. I want to build an audience that way, which feels really good to have like decided.
Yeah, Yeah, like you say, it's not that you didn't have that idea. It's just that that idea to do that is lost among all the other stuff that you
Yeah.
have to think about. So it's like, sometimes you really do just have to like talk to somebody or talk to Gemini or journal or however you kind of get all of your ideas into a row, into a neat and tidy line. Yeah, because
I have a specific question trying to answer because actually this has been really
yeah.
helpful, this podcast pairing. Because like it's all stuff I've thought about before, but I have never had to come up with the answer before. So I'm like, I'll keep thinking about that, or I'll keep building a strategy. But like having to actually articulate a strategy made me realize I couldn't articulate it, and I
Yeah.
didn't. I was just keeping juggling a dozen tactics. And it's like, actually, what I want to do is get rid of tactics that don't serve that at all and
Yeah.
really focus on, like, I know I need to get my automations improved. Like, they could be so much better.
Yes.
And I know my newsletter could be asking for the purchase more and, like, really doing more audience building and, like, getting people engaged more. And all I do is, like, a lot of things okay. And I'd rather let something slide and do some things really well for the next year.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's so helpful to narrow down all the things, but you do have to try a lot of stuff before you can narrow them down. And that, I think that's when we were talking last week, it felt frustrating to think like, well, I've got all of these things, like I know all of these things, I've tried all these things, they're not working, but that's literally because like we've tried too many things. Well, not too many things, we've just tried all the things. And
Yeah.
it's like, and it's
And
so
that's the goal of year two,
difficult.
was to try all the tactics.
Yeah, like we really have. I feel like I've tried, even if I haven't physically done it, I have researched stuff to do and like decided not to do it right now, or decided it wasn't for me, or I have done it, and it feels like a lot of work for no reward. And I think that's probably like last week, but like the reason why I wanted to talk about it last week is because the frustration of doing all the work with no reward is just awful. And I know like so many indie authors are in the same boat. Like the amount of people I see talking about, and I put this on Threads as well recently. Like, I've had a terrible month this month, and I shouldn't have had a terrible month, but I don't. It's because I've had so many ideas and I've been so scattered that I feel like I haven't utilized anything in the correct way. And so it's like, it's just really been really frustrating to be putting so much effort into stuff and not getting anything back is the worst feeling. And I don't want that. I want to feel in control. I want to know, like, I want to narrow down all the things and feel like I'm streamlining my processes, which is the whole point of season 2 of this. Is like I'm in such a growth period at the moment, and it's so uncomfortable. It's just the worst thing. I know, like
I think it's weird because like you don't know what you're growing into. I think that's what's the weird thing about this sort of growth is like, am I growing into a butterfly or a crab or a dog? Just like it feels like I don't know what I'm growing towards.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm turning into. I can't remember who said it. I saw this on Instagram. Probably everything I see is on Instagram, which was, if you're feeling like you're being held back, it's because you're about to like leap forward. If you feel uncomfortable, it's because you're about to change, like because you're changing form. So it's like an uncomfortable thing to feel. So I feel like I've been feeling all of those awkward, negative feelings, and I'm ready. Well, I think I'm ready for the next bit. I think I'm ready for the next part. I
think we have this feeling every few months of just like, it feels like I'm ready for something to happen. And I think that's the uncomfortable feeling is like our body saying, okay, enough of this. Do a different thing now. Because you could just stay in the like building tactics stage forever, or like, you know, fiddling around with different tactics and just like not achieving anything. Like for this year, one of the things that I really wanted to do was just try different Facebook ads tactics and like different experiments without running consistent ads. Just like, okay, how does this sort of ad work? What happens if I run these sorts of ads? Like, and just set myself little budgets every time, and that was really helpful. But I did feel like I was doing a lot of work for no money benefit, even though I decided to do a lot of work for no money benefit, which is like, that was really annoying, because like, I decided to do this.
Yeah, I did the same. I've run a few Facebook ads over the last few months. I've turned them off now because it kind of drained my money. But I also had something else I wanted to spend my money on. So I know that I have done different things. I've been trying different ad stuff and utilizing other people's platforms on Instagram and collabing with people, and it's not that it's bad. That is the process. Like, the trying things is the process, and that was the whole point of this year. And I really have to remind myself that it's fine. Like, there's no requirement for me to make all the money right now. There's no the pressure is, I'm putting the pressure on myself. I don't need to make the money right now. I want to, because I want to be at that point where I can quit my job and I can live the life of luxury that I'm imagining, which is obviously a lie.
I got my nails painted midweek this week. It felt like the life of luxury. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
On like a Wednesday afternoon, get my nails done.
I know we've talked about this so many times in the past. We're both so good at future casting. We both know exactly what we want our days to look like and our lives to look like. That to not be there can sometimes feel really frustrating. And once again this week, I thought to myself, I could just stop. And then and it's funny how many times I have that thought. And I don't mean that I have that thought a lot. I just mean that it comes back around every now and again, enough for me to realise, like,
often
when
it's
I
also
say
not
it,
like it comes around as a desire. It comes around as like just a thought of like, I could stop this.
Yeah,
there's no one making me do this. It's just me.
It's just such a fun, like, it feels like a negative realisation. It feels like it's like a give up thing, but it's not that it's a give up thing. It's just when I think that thought, I have now started to realise that I think that before I start to really enjoy it again. It's so I'm really bad at recognising my own patterns because I'm just like such a dead ahead person. So it's funny when every now and again I'm like, oh, but this happens like every 2 or 3 months, and then you always, the next week you'll be like, I love it. Why would I ever give this up?
Together.
So and I was thinking that this weekend, thinking like, you've had a really bad couple of weeks, but like next week you're gonna have a great week and you're gonna love it, and you're gonna be like, what was I thinking about? Why was I so worried?
The more times you go through this, the more time, the better you get at recognizing the pattern every time. So it's it's a real pain to keep going through the same thing again and again, but like all you're doing is training yourself to recognize these patterns. And I think you want to get better at that, right? Because you don't want to be on the brink of a 6-figure launch and kind of be like, oh gosh, I really doubt myself right now, should I quit? You want to be able to be at that stage and be like, it's just the voice is back. Like, the voice just double checking I'm doing the right thing, and I know I am. So this pattern is, I'm just gonna separate my thoughts from that and move on.
Yes.
It's just strengthening your ability to handle your own emotions. I feel like this week I've seen a lot of posts on Threads about like authors who are like, oh, I almost quit and then I had this thing, and I think like that's the algorithm.
I see that a lot.
Doing the things like serving you the thing that you need to see.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. I really want to be one of those stories of like, I almost quit. I was just gonna go back to work, and then I hit the big bucks. Like, I've told myself, annoyingly, that's my story, and probably now, like, I've just created that for myself. I have to keep going until I get to that point. And then like, but then will it happen now that the universe thinks that I know it knows?
You and your sentient universe, I'm sure the universe will come around for you. But I also think like it feels so nice to be recording this podcast, to be able to say, in a couple of years' time when we're at a different stage, we can look back and think like that was a process that we went through, that thought process and that decision of like, oh, I tried this strategy, I thought it was going to be a strategy and it was terrible, but then the next year I tried a different strategy and it worked. Like, I think it feels good, as we always say, just like be doing this together and to be doing it as like an experiment. Just like all we're doing is trying. Like, the worst thing you can do is not try and say we try this and it's terrible. We're like, well, now I know what doesn't work. And we've got two versions of that we get to try in 2 different ways. They're interesting. I think we are both doing similar things next year. So I want to do audience building and you're doing brand building, which I think are very of a type. And that maybe I think is interesting in terms of like we're both at we're thinking about Act 3, and Act 3 is like a big climax. It's something that you're thinking is like going to change everything. And it's interesting we both approached like not a money goal for that. We've approached a more business goal and like building our business rather than building the money. And I had definitely thought like I would be heading towards trying to build money in the next year. But when I built up this is one of the things I've done since I quit, is like a lot of little things like this, like I built myself a financial contingency plan. And that just laid out between where I am now and 100% of the money I need. It's split out different percentages for different months along the way. So like at 6 months, I need a certain percentage. And if I'm not at that percentage, here's what I have to do. And if at 1 year I'm not here, here's what I have to do. And the things I have to do are things like pick up more freelancing work, or take on extra days at my like day job with the freelancing work there, or do a side hustle. And it's like, oh, that felt really comforting to see that actually in my head I'd sort of built it up that I had to make 100% of the money right away, which is obviously impossible, or like as quickly as possible. I think that's where I was psychologically, was like, get to 100% as quickly as possible. But all that would do is like just stress me out, because like I don't need it. I have 2 years worth of money. So what I want to do is build a business that then sustains, rather than like kill myself to get there, die of burnout, lose my house because I stopped paying the mortgage, like worst case scenario. No, I want to like sustainably get to 100% at 2 years, or it's slightly under 2 years is my plan, which means that I know that by the end of this year, I don't need to be at 100%, not this year, like the coming year, I need to be at something like 35%, like it's not huge. And that will allow me to say I'm going to spend time building an audience and like building that loyalty of the audience between now and then as well, not just building money.
Yeah, I think that's it's funny how often I feel like I'm chasing money, but I actually don't like that. It does not align with me whatsoever to be chasing money. I'm not a money chasing person. I hate the idea of being really focused on money. Money still stresses me out. And I know like I've done work around this and stuff, but it really does. It stresses me out still. And so I don't want to be making that my main focus. I really want to make like the vibe my focus. Like I'm such a vibes person. I just need it to feel good. That's really so important to me, is to feel good and feel like creatively I am like thriving, and energetically I'm like still interested in the thing that I'm doing, because otherwise I'm just dead in the water. If I'm not enjoying it, then no amount of money is gonna make me happy if I'm not like at like my best self. So I'm glad to kind of have that realization, like as much as I want the money for the comfort it'll bring and everything else that comes with it, I just want to have fun. I just want this to be fun. I want it to feel so good, and I want it to feel like how I imagine it to feel.
I mean, there's much better jobs than being a writer for money. So it's like a big part of what you want from this career is the creativity, and it's like and part of that creativity is part of a whole lifestyle. And the whole lifestyle is I have enough money to support myself doing what I want and be creative at the same time. Yes, and that is what I want my author career to be. Because again, like we don't have kids to support, we don't have expensive houses. Like we're not having to build like a financial legacy. We're trying to build like a life for ourselves that we enjoy, and part of that is not being burned out and not having to like worry about the numbers on the screen too much.
Yeah, and I don't want a million employees relying on me for their own livelihoods as well. Just want to be doing my thing and feeling like I understand what that is.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
And absolutely loving it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I feel like I've really gone through it.
Yeah. But that is the end of Act 2. That's the end of Act 2. It's like really like full of the feelings, and like we're gonna make a big commitment to the next stage, and just like it's tough. We're on the upwards climb. Yeah. Before we hit the big drama.
Oh. Okay, I have nothing more to say on this topic, so do you have anything else? Okay. Next week we are looking ahead to oh my God, I can't say numbers. I'm going to say 2026. I was going to say 2026. It felt wrong. We're looking ahead to 2026 and planning our writing year. Do you have any thoughts on that at the moment?
Sort of. I was surprised to see this as next thing in our plan. I had forgotten we planned this at all. And when I was writing it out for the notes, I was like, oh, great, because I am thinking about that. But also, that seems very organised of us to be thinking about that with the start of November then. Yes, I am really looking forward to it. So I've already got very exciting plans in place next year. I have got a group of writers who, they're all friends and people from our retreat who all realise like, oh, we really like and find it very productive to write on retreats. So we are going to be just doing a lot of burst writing and like writing really intensely together for a week and a bit at a time, and then coming away to do the other editing things. So I think in my head, I've got like quite an up in the air idea of how much I'm going to get done, when am I going to get it done, how am I going to get it done, and I really want to pin down. I'm sort of doing what I always do with time and like double planning all the time. So like once I've got a plan in place, then it's like, and then also use that plan time a second time. So I think it would do me good to be like, how many books can I really get written? How many do I want to write? How am I going to launch and edit these? So yes, I need to get serious about how time works. How about you?
Yeah, I think that the reason we decided to talk about this now is because we were talking about November being my usual time to write. So I usually do NaNoWriMo. And November is generally the time that I will write a book. And this year is different, kind of, but also not, because I will be working through November. But it's just like a really good time for me to reassess my writing. I have like a general plan for what I think is going to happen next year, but I haven't fully looked at the calendar and like decided. Like I haven't really like looked at time. As we all know, time exists not to me. So I really
it's just an
need
unfortunate reality of existence. I think time is the worst part of life.
Absolutely. I just want to be Mariah Carey and not have time be a part of my life.
Yeah,
but
it's not for me.
Unfortunately, I am not her. And I really need to get a grip on this now before I get swept away with like, I mean, the end of the year is almost here, and I'm just going to get lost in all of that like nonsense.
And we want to be ready before we get to January.
I need to be ready before. Yeah, I need to be ready next week. So like I need to have the map in my mind, and I need to know what's going on. So I'm really looking forward to doing this, because if we don't do it soon, it'll be too late. So
it'll be like February, March before we get organised.
Yeah. So yes, I'm very excited to talk about it. We'll be back next week, obviously, with that. We also currently have a poll going in our Discord. So if you don't know, we have our own Discord channel where we continue the conversation from the podcast, but also just have like fun chats in there and help each other out. But we have a super secret poll for a super secret thing going on next year. I don't want to give it away. You've got to go in the Discord to see.
Yeah. But it's to do with next year and planning.
It is to do with
everything
next year and planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you liked all this talk about like planning and stuff, and you're going to tune in next week because you desperately need this as well, then go into the Discord. We have what you need. Come along with us. And there's a week left in the poll that we're running, so definitely go and jump in there and see. And if you want to help us out with the money thing, even though we said we're not totally in this for the money, but if you want to throw some money our way anyway, we have a coffee, and you can find the link in the show notes. Yeah, just throw a couple of bucks our way, whatever you want. A little or a lot, we're completely fine with it. Yeah, I think that's it. I desperately need to go and lie down, and I won't cry, but I will feel like crying.
Yeah, I just need to close my eyes and just not think for a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, so thank you very much for tuning in, and we will be back next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to Pen to Paycheck Authors.
Stay tuned for our next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to learn how to write your way to financial success.